Welcome to A Woman's Heart. I am really looking forward to this discussion. We have Karen Ehman with us today, and I cannot wait to see what we learn from you today, Karen. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Lisa.
You are very, very welcome. Now, I always like to get started and get to know you a little bit better and let the audience get to know you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and something fun that isn't normally in your bio.
Okay. Well, I live in Michigan. I've lived here my whole life, married my college sweetheart. We have three grown children and three kids in law. So I have six kids now. I kind of forget which are which because I love them all. And we have one grandchild who's 2 years old. His name's Jasper. And I write and speak and am a writer for Proverbs 31 Ministries. I've always liked writing ever since I was little. I wanted to be an author. And as far as like a little known thing about me, I guess I will just say that I've always loved to talk. It's what got me in trouble when I was little. The teachers used to always say, Karen's a good student, but she talks too much. And in my defense, I thought what I had to say was more interesting than what they were saying.
Oh, of
But
course.
but it's actually the thing that first attracted my husband to me when we were in college. He's kind of more laid back and quiet, and he loved the way I could talk and maybe talk to the college president on down to the boy bagging groceries. He said, I just loved how you could work a room. But then about 3 days into our honeymoon, he had this thought, like, is she ever going to stop?
Wait a
So
minute. Now
this
I'm
is,
married.
yeah, this is the little known fact. He's already decided if I pass away before he does what he's going to put on my tombstone. Are you ready for it?
Oh, yes.
A period. She's finally done talking. Because he said, Kieran, your language doesn't have periods. So there's like commas and semicolons, but there's always more to come. So,
So
but
there'll be
no,
a tiny little
yeah.
dot right there on your
But
chest.
and I just, I think that writing is talking on paper, and further evidence, and this will be the end of my trivia, that I love to talk is when I was in high school a few years ago, I broke the record for the most column inches written in the newspaper. I was a staff reporter for the sports, and I also did like some news features too. And I wrote the most column inches. They measured it up back then, and that record still stands today. So I like to talk with my mouth, and I like to talk with my hands on paper too. So I just really
Okay.
like to talk, but that's okay.
Well, and it has come in very handy for
Yeah.
a writing and speaking career.
Yes. Exactly.
That's great. Well, and you have written several books, like over 17 or over 17 now.
Actually, that you might have seen an old bio. I've actually written 21. The book we're
Oh,
talking about today is number
oh,
21.
it's 21. Well, I had
Yeah.
17 plus. I was like, I
Yeah.
figured it was more than 17. I just didn't know how
Uh,
many. So yeah, 21 now. Okay.
yeah.
Though you're officially legal. It's a legal age now, right?
There you go.
There you go. Well, and a lot of them, I love the titles on a lot of them. I'm going to have to go back and read some of them. I was like, oh, that one looks good too. This one is the Love Your Life Project, and you wrote it with Ruth Schwank. And what was the spark that got you guys wanting to write this? Was there anything in particular that happened, or just something you'd noticed? I'd love to know why you all chose this.
Well, I think both for Ruth and myself, we are at the age where our kids are grown and leaving the nest. Mine are all gone. She's got about half of hers gone. And just seeing them try to figure out life and what it is they're supposed to do, what it is they want to do, what it is they feel like they're being pressured to do, and just working with our own kids as well as other people of that age that we mentor, whether it's in church or through our online ministries. We just saw a lot of people trying to figure out, how do you get life done? How do you
Yes.
figure out first what you're supposed to do? And then how do you get it done, get your work done and your responsibilities without neglecting your relationships? Or the other way around, sometimes
Mhm.
people spend so much time letting everybody interrupt them that they never get around to their work. So it's managing those people and projects, how to balance them, how to navigate that tension. And it's something that both of us have been doing, for a few decades now. And we love to talk about it. We love to talk with people about it. And so we thought, what if we wrote like a 40-day challenge that kind of walked women through how to determine their priorities and then how to live them out? And so that's the result.
Yeah, well, and it is so packed with so much good information. I love how you started it out. You kind of mentioned it this, but you didn't do it quite the same way as you did. And I'm not sure if it was you or Ruth that wrote it. In the introduction, you gave the cake analogy.
Yeah,
So when
yeah,
people are trying to figure out, give us this cake
yeah,
analogy.
yeah. And that actually was me that wrote that. Um, and because we were trying to think of a way to kind of illustrate what it is that we're talking about trying to figure out your priorities and then live them out. And so just imagine that you've been assigned the assignment to bake a birthday cake for your best friend. Now you know German chocolate is her favorite, so it's going to be a hit. You don't have to worry about what cake to pick out because you know that's going to be a hit, but you don't have any recipe, any directions. So you just walk into the kitchen, you start grabbing things you think go in it, like, there's flour and cocoa powder and sugar and baking powder, or is it baking soda? You don't remember, so you grab them both and you just start trying to mix it up. And then you try to figure out the frosting. That's got like pecans and coconut, but you don't know the ratios. You don't know in what order to add things. You just try your very best. Now, most likely, that cake's not going to turn out because you had no plan, you had no recipe. And sadly, for a lot of people, that's what life is like. Like, we know the various components that make up our life, we know the different things we have to tend to and the responsibilities we have and the people we have and all of that, but we don't have a plan for navigating when two things collide into each other. Which do you pick to do now? Which do you wait for later? And how do you be proactive with doing life so you're not just going through life reacting to whatever gets thrown your way? How to kind of come up with not a strict, rigid plan that's tied to a schedule and you only do certain things in a certain order, but a flexible routine that allows for interruptions from God and ministry to others, but it keeps you on that routine. So it keeps you going forward in life.
Yeah, I have found that frequently I will describe it as I'm just doggy paddling. I'm
Mhm.
just frantically, I'm like, okay, what do I have to get done today? I can't even think beyond today. 'Cause what do I
Right.
have to get done today? And I'm just doggy paddling. And then you try to look at the next day and figure out and make sure you're prepared for the next day. And then maybe you can look a few days ahead, but it's like, you should plan ahead and it will go much smoother. All the studies say that it does. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the right thing to do, but you can't seem to get ahead enough to do more than just that frantic doggy paddle. You can't ever seem to get
Yeah.
into a nice, good, smooth freestyle stroke. You're
Yeah.
just kind of keeping my
Yeah.
head above water, and it's so easy to do that in life.
Yeah. And not that you can always do that. There are
Mhm.
times that come up where I just got home from my brother-in-law's funeral. I couldn't really plan ahead for this week. I'm playing catch up from last week from things I missed. But when we have the time that we can plan and we can have those routines in place, for the majority of our life, during those times where we get derailed because of grief or because of sickness or whatever,
Mhm.
having put into practice those habits in the past helps keep us going in the future, because it's kind of almost like, muscle memory. We just continue to
Yeah.
do the things we've done, and we're not, I mean, yeah, we are still struggling with sadness or grief or sickness or whatever, but some of those things become second nature to us, and it helps to better keep us on track and keep us from getting completely derailed.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that, and I know with the interruptions, there's also a sense of when the interruptions are more distractions
Mhm.
versus ministry opportunities or divine appointments. I know that there have been a few times in my life where we were